一軒家にでも住めれば誰も気にすることなく。
Hi guys, my name is Ben, and today I'm going to tell you about the anime Isekai Meikyuu. Well, subscribe to my channel and enjoy watching this video. Let's go! Michio Kaga begins playing a cheap online game. He believes in virtual reality. The village is attacked by bandits, and he kills several with his sword Dirindle. Somara, the village chief, rewards him with the bandits' equipment. When Kaga attempts to log out, he realizes the world around him is genuine, and he must complete the game beforehand. A villagers attempt to steal Kaga's capture loot and is sentenced to slavery. To sell his loot, the thief, and collect the bandit's bounty, Kaga travels to the city of Well. There, he collects the bounty and meets Alan, a slave trader, who purchases the thief and reveals a new labyrinth has been discovered nearby. As Kaga is intrigued by the labyrinth, Alan suggests purchasing a slave, in particular, a slave named Roxanne, as she is a beast woman. She is useful in combat and is also a guaranteed virgin. Should he want her as a sex slave? Feeling guilty over considering it, Kaga is nonetheless dazzled by the possibility of a willing sex slave, and Alan's smooth sales talk, so he impulsively agrees to return in 5 days with the almost 450,000 gold needed to purchase Roxanne. An older Kaga visits the village he first woke up in, now with 5 female slaves. Seeing a young boy named Meikyuu, he gives Meikyuu a sword called Scimitar of Ray. Roxanne is curious, but Kaga only admits he knew Meikyuu's father. In the present, Kaga has sold his loot, but still needs another 17,000. To earn money quickly, he decides to enter the labyrinth to loot valuables. Fearing his sword Durandal is too tempting for thieves, he hides it within his character menu and purchases a basic scimitar. Entering the labyrinth, he begins to experiment with the skill he has acquired. After slaying monsters, he notices depleting his magic causes depression, so he decides to avoid spellcasting until he can increase his magic capacity. After his first day, he earns a pittance on loot, accidentally falling into a monster nest. He almost dies, only kept alive by Durandal's help. A magic absorbs him enchantments. After defeating the nest, he returns to Well and learns the comrades all the bandits he killed are in the area. Kaga decides to hunt them for the bounty. Reasoning that bandits will want to stay hidden, Kaga visits the slums and discovers parts of the city, becomes a red light district after sunset. Despite the many distractions, Kaga locates a bandit and follows him to their headquarters. As there are a large number of separate bandit gangs, Kaga observes them to learn their habits. His landlord informs him bandits began murdering each other after an imported boss was killed in an attempt to take over his territory. The bandits Kaga had killed before this were members of a losing gang the other bandits had driven out of Well. With less than 24 hours to purchase Roxana, Kaga makes his move, infiltrating the headquarters. Kaga is able to kill several bandits in their sleep, but is forced to teleport into the labyrinth when other bandits are alerted, trading them in for the bounty. Kaga finally has enough money and purchases Roxana from Alan. Roxanne surprises Kaga by apologizing for that and he will be able to buy her. With his extra money, Kaga is able to afford a larger room. Roxanne is noticeably nervous and Kaga realizes he is mistakenly got a room with a double bed compared to 2 single beds and is afraid the fall of sharing a bed scared her. He is able to reassure her that as well as sharing his bed, he mostly wants her to accompany him into the labyrinth as a fighter. After purchasing all Roxanne's adventure equipment, including underwear, they return to their room. Roxanne proves adept at repairing and maintaining equipment, but they both grow more nervous. As night approaches, Kaga is unable to stop himself from looking at and touching Roxana's body, but feels incredibly guilty for it. Despite the awkwardness, they manage to wash each other's backs, Roxanne's style and shampoo each other's hair. Finally, they get into bed together and, while trying to make sure Roxanne enjoys herself as much as he does, they have sex. The next morning, Roxana kisses him, but Kaga suspects she only did so because he asked her to before they fell asleep. Regardless, Kaga decides to ban their first trip into the labyrinth. Kaga asks Roxanne how to add skills to his equipment and is told he must locate a rare monster skill, Crystal, and have a blacksmith bodied to the equipment. Unfortunately, only dwarves have the blacksmith ability and they are often untrustworthy. Kaga decides to find a trustworthy dwarf and make them a party member. Inside the labyrinth, Kaga learns that magic crystal can be filled with monster magic. For incredible sums, but can take months to accomplish. Purchasing 2 empty crystals. Kaga learns they can hold magic from 1 million monsters, but most people say them after 100,000. He also learns labyrinths are alive and grow upwards, so the first floor is actually the lowest, while the strongest monsters are on the top floors. Kaga decides he needs spells that attack a multiplayer target, as they also require healing spells. Both Kaga and Roxanne gain the title of monk by defeating a monster with their bare hands. At night, they repeat their ritual of bathing each other before making love. The next day, they locate the room of the first floor's boss monster and hit inside to defeat it. After defeating the 3-type boss, Roxana picks up a medicinal leaf drop and gains the title herbalist. For defeating the boss, they are granted access to floor 2. But Kaga also desires the herbalist title, so they return to the first floor to fight the boss again. With the herbalist title, Kaga is able to use a medicinal leaf to create health potions. Returning to the city, Kaga notices a bandit watching Alan's trading house and warns him. Alan explains he recently sold the thief that Kaga had sold to him, but he was bought by dangerous looking man. Suspecting the thief was actually a bandit the whole time, and the man who bought him were members of his gang. As the thief is still in the trading house, Alan suspects he was told to wait until everyone was asleep and unlock the door to let the bandits inside. As Roxanne has fond memories of Alan's other servants, Kaga requests to be hired as a bodyguard. After spending the evening in bed, Roxanne and Kaga return to the trading house at night and join Alan's combat slave to ambush the bandits. The bandits fall into the ambush. Kaga spots the thief and tries to apprehend him with experimental magic when he uses a spell equivalent exchange. It causes a self-destruct orb. The thief was carrying to explode. Alan rewards Kaga for protecting his shop, almost fatally low on magic. Kaga decides to enter the labyrinth to harvest magic from monsters and find the using equivalent exchange. Unlocked the mage title. He decides to buy stuff and the next opportunity, but suddenly stumbles across the second floor's boss room, containing a giant caterpillar which he and Roxanne quickly defeat. Entering the third floor, they find the new monsters are Kobolots. Returning to the surface, Kaga hears a mage teleport him to Imperial City and then to Curator, so that in the future he can teleport himself and Roxanne there for free. That night, they once again relax. Kaga becomes determined to buy a house, so Roxanne no longer has to put up with living in taverns. Teleporting to Curator, Kaga learns adventurers are charged every time they enter the labyrinth, until Roxanne points out they can snakily teleport inside for free. Thank you for watching this video, and guys, I know my English is so bad, but I hope you understand me. Well, you have been with you. See you later. Bye bye.